The AAA action genre is entering a new phase, with upcoming releases planned for 2026 and 2027 that emphasize scale, fluid combat, and technical innovation. These titles aim to deliver more responsive gameplay, detailed worlds, and high-intensity encounters that push modern action design forward. Let's get into it. Alkahest is an action-adventure RPG set in a medieval land where the player controls a young noble working to gain status by handling threats like goblin raids and political tension. The game uses first-person combat with strong environmental interaction, allowing players to push, trap, or damage enemies using surroundings and tools. Alchemy replaces magic, letting players craft substances for combat, stealth, or utility, with different results based on use.
Welcome to the Galactic League!
Star Wars Galactic Racer is a racing game set in the Outer Rim after the fall of the Empire, where players compete in an illegal league backed by syndicates. Players control different types of vehicles like land speeders and pod racers, each with unique handling and performance. Races include combat elements such as collisions and takedowns, along with customization options to adjust vehicles. The game includes solo story races and multiplayer modes with competitive progression systems.
Impeding! Impeding! If they weren't holding me back right now, I'd have you frozen in carbonite!
Star Wars Eclipse is an action-adventure game set during the High Republic era, around 200 years before The Phantom Menace, focusing on a story with multiple playable characters and branching paths. Players make decisions that change events, with each character having their own role and moral direction. The game removes traditional failure states, meaning the story continues even if characters die, shifting attention to consequences across an Outer Rim setting.
Thou shalt not kill.
Chronicles Medieval is a medieval sandbox game where players create a character and rise from a low position by fighting battles, managing resources, and gaining control over land. The game combines melee combat with large-scale warfare, allowing players to recruit and command troops while also fighting directly. Systems include castle building, crafting, diplomacy, and economy, with decisions affecting progression and control across a dynamic world shaped by conflict and alliances.
I became like them. I took up the sword, prayed I could win redemption through my deeds. But some paths, once taken, have only one ending. I shall find no peace. On this road, there is only death. But that's just my story. Go write your own.
Star Wars Zero Company is a single-player turn-based tactics game set near the end of the Clone Wars, where players control Hawks, a former Republic officer leading a squad of hired specialists. The game centers on squad management and strategic missions, with each member bringing different skills to combat. Players plan moves, position units, and coordinate actions during encounters, while the story develops around a growing threat and team dynamics.
The one fought in the shadows. The war beneath the war. A war that's won with the right strategy. Surveillance. Ciphers, good old-fashioned sabotage. These aren't the heroes they tell stories about. They're professionals. Setting aside their differences to take on the impossible. That's the job, and they get it done.
Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic is a single-player action RPG set near the end of the Old Republic era, where players take the role of a Force user navigating a galaxy in conflict. The game uses a narrative-driven structure with branching choices tied to light and dark side paths. Players shape events through decisions, influencing character, relationships, and outcomes while progressing through an original story with new characters.
Everyone! Welcome to MI6. To succeed in the 00 program, agents must understand the set.
007 First Light is an action-adventure game that follows a young James Bond during his early time in MI6 training, showing how he earns his 007 status. The game combines stealth, combat, and gadget use, allowing players to approach missions in different ways, such as silent infiltration or direct confrontation. Missions take place across varied locations, with replayable objectives and modifiers that change how scenarios play out.
Once trespassing, slip past your opponents unnoticed, or use takedowns to silently get rid of them. When confronting a whole group of enemies, you may choose a gentler approach.
And hut! Rob Minkley, Krugs Magazine.
Bluffing is an art that will serve you well, whether getting caught red-handed
Over here! Looks like a trust fall gone wrong.
or to simply pass through a room under enemies' noses.
Oi, you lads got a faulty coffee machine?
Bluffing consumes instinct and won't be available if a more experienced enemy is nearby. In this scenario, you won't get far without the appropriate gear. Therefore, the second rule is to always come prepared.
Well, what are we waiting for?
MI6 will keep its doors open for you between missions, giving you the chance to catch up with familiar faces, gather intel, and prepare for your next move.
So, your name is Moneypenny.
Now let's not get carried away, James.
QLab, on the lower level, will give you access to a wide range of gadgets.
I like it. Don't change a thing.
Each tool is designed to go unnoticed on the field, but help with maximum efficiency.
Right, follow me. I have something for you.
The Q-Lens will highlight useful information about opportunities and hackable devices. Your Q-Watch should be able to activate these to divert attention, deactivate cameras, or get rid of unsuspicious enemies in creative ways. The Dot Phone can quietly move enemies out of the way. The Smoke Pod, a timeless classic, will block visibility at short range. The modified earbuds will produce a flash of light to stun opponents. Other gadgets will be developed in due time and will help you stay creative in all circumstances.
Who do you work for? Take the shot!
Knowing how to improvise is a matter of life and death in the midst of action. Any object at disposal could prove useful to put an enemy's ideas back in their place. The same could be said of guardrails, electrical panels, or any surface hard enough to act as a weapon. Under heated circumstances, MI6 grants you a license to kill, allowing for even more possibilities to get rid of hostiles. In these situations, any weapon could be used as long as you manage to obtain it. Switch between different playstyles to catch your attackers off guard, and don't forget to return what you borrowed once out of ammo. Some enemies will be harder to defeat, and gadgets will help you get rid of soldiers' armors, stun tenacious leaders, and defuse grenades with the simple press of a button from your watch. Focus training will also give you an edge over your enemies. Dilate time and incapacitate their legs, or disarm them with the precision of a marksman. All of these skills might be trained between missions in TACSIM, the department of Dr. Selena Tan.
Welcome to my dream factory.
TACSIM will put your skills to the test through multiple types of challenges, each with its own specific rules that will pitch your performance against those of other agents from around the world. Overcoming challenges will earn you experience points, which you can spend on gadget upgrades, new firearms, and unique outfits to defeat enemies in style. And remember, at IO Interactive, the launch of a game is only the start. New content for TACSIM will be created over time.
Faster, James. Faster.
So, keep an eye out for our updates, and get ready as new challenges lie ahead to put your 00 skills to the test. Finally, one last unwritten rule might be that an agent is never as good as when surrounded by allies, a team ready to give its all in the field, and companions to defend. But we're pretty sure you'll figure out this part yourself when the time comes. See you on May 27 to join the program and discover Bond's adventures in 007 First Light.
This is an SOS from the forward reconnaissance ship Cassiopeia.
Directive 8020 is a cinematic sci-fi horror game where players control crew members of a colony ship that crashes on a distant planet while escaping a dying Earth. The game combines survival gameplay with choice-based storytelling, where decisions affect character outcomes and events. Players avoid or confront an alien that can mimic humans using stealth, quick actions, and limited tools, while managing trust and suspicion within the crew.
We need urgent assistance.
They're right behind me! Open the fucking door!
God. It's alive.
Please. Help us. Get me out of here! Or I'm gonna fucking freeze!
Fucking burning in here! You can't leave me out here!
Please.
Blight Survival is a third-person action horror game set in a medieval war zone where players fight both humans and infected creatures caused by a spreading disease. The game supports solo or co-op play with up to 4 players, combining directional melee combat with systems inspired by extraction and roguelite design. Players choose when to leave with collected loot or continue deeper, using different weapons, armor, and upgrades to handle increasing risk.
Stop warming your balls and get over here! Hey, are you listening to me?
Sure, I am.
You're hearing me. You ain't listening.
Leave off, Granger.
Look at him, or I'll make you.
Boy, calm down, will you? All right, I'm looking.
What did I say then, eh?
Just for the pain.
That's it. That painted armor. Bloody savages, didn't I say?
Yeah, you said it, Granger.
Get off him. What, you think he's got blight? Sometimes it's harder to spot, yeah? Gets in your veins first. Clogs up your brain. You're infected before you know it. He's dead. Poor bastard reeks. Probably dead for days. You're new to this. It only gets worse after they're dead. Makes you almost sorry for him. My ass doesn't feel too sorry. Keep looking.
What the hell happened here?
Alien Deathstorm is a first-person action horror game where players take the role of a combat engineer sent to a remote colony damaged by a massive storm and overrun by alien creatures. The game combines shooting with survival elements, requiring players to manage threats from enemies and unstable environments. Combat relies on weapons and careful movement, while dynamic weather and collapsing structures affect visibility, positioning, and moment-to-moment decisions.
Warning. Adverse weather conditions detected. Wind speeds reaching survival threshold. Seek shelter.
Halo Campaign Evolved is a rebuilt version of the original Halo Combat Evolved campaign, with updated visuals, controls, and additional content. Players control Master Chief through story missions that include shooting, vehicle use, and varied combat encounters against alien forces. The game adds new weapons, enemies, and 3 extra missions, along with optional modifiers that change gameplay conditions. It also supports solo play or up to 4-player online co-op.
Gotta find the cartographer. We'll keep him busy as long as we can.
Fire Team Charlie, we're on our way.
Touchdown! Hit it, Marine!
Somebody go to a warthog.
The Covenant are putting up a real fight. The cartographer must be here.
Lock and load, rock and roll!
Give them hell, Chief.
Port Desire. A city that don't belong to anyone, but everyone wants a piece.
No Law is a first-person action RPG set in a cyberpunk port city where players control Gray Harker, a former soldier dealing with threats tied to his past. The game combines shooting and stealth, allowing different approaches to missions using weapons, gadgets, and movement across vertical environments. Player decisions affect outcomes and character interactions, with multiple paths and replay options shaped by choices made during story events.
Kept my hands in dirt instead of blood. But desire is a fickle mistress. The city won't let me go. It won't forget my name. I asked for nothing, and they still came and took everything. The mayors and anyone that stands in my way, every last one of them. They're gonna learn something real simple. You reap what you...
Copy. You're 1097. On.
Hunter the Reckoning Deathwish is a first-person action RPG set in a modern New York City where players control a human hunter, tracking hidden creatures like vampires and werewolves. The game combines combat, stealth, and investigation, allowing players to gather information through hacking, spying, and infiltration before engaging targets. Character progression uses attributes and skills that affect success rates, while choices in missions and dialogue change story paths and relationships within the hunter group.
Waiting for its prey.
Charlotte took control. There's nothing here.
We have learned. We've prepared. And we won't let it happen again.
reckoning is coming.
Marvel's Wolverine is an action-adventure game focused on Logan, a mutant with retractable claws, enhanced senses, and a strong healing ability. The game uses close-range combat built around fast attacks, durability, and aggressive play, with a story that connects to Insomniac's Spider-Man universe while remaining self-contained. Players engage with characters like Mystique and Omega Red as the narrative unfolds through combat encounters and story-driven sequences.
How far I run. Death's always waiting. Just not for me. Because I ain't no hero.